this is me exercising that demon. Like, I am saying my piece on this episode, and that I am never talking about this.
We should just clear out for the John ISO here, honestly. Let's just get our shit out of the way. I'm really excited. Oh, amazing.
Hey everybody, welcome to Pursuing Pixels. My name's Kevin Portelli, and I'm here tonight with John Hines.
Hey there.
And Randall Nolery.
Hey folks.
And we are back as always to talk about some video games, full strength for the first time in the new year here. We kicked off the new year with a little duo episode with Randall and I. And during that episode, or I guess before the recording of that episode, we kind of tabled a couple of things, both because we were just, had more than enough to talk about during that episode. And then also because a few things we wanted to wait for John to be around for. Yeah. We can just kind of dig into some of the games we've been playing here. And I think, Randall, you and I can kind of kick things off here with, I'll let you kind of take the lead here on a game that I really gushed about last year.
You did.
I guess really just once and then I was going to say multiple times, but really, just one more time on the holiday episode at the end of the year here. But
one of the best games you've ever talked about on the podcast.
The greatest racing game of all time.
Yes, and yes.
Excite Truck. So it's
let's go.
And it kind of I kind of touched on this before, but it kind of pisses me off that I was there at the beginning of the Wii era. I sat outside for the Wii. I was a big fan. I was like, and I had enough dispensable cash so I could buy a handful of games if I wanted to at launch. And yet, this was not one of those games because enough of the, game reviewers of the time, many of which are sadly defunct these days. We can't really have video game websites anymore. That's another thing that doesn't exist. But a lot of them gave 7 out of 10s and, 6 point whatevers out of 10s and maybe a 75. It was kind of in that range, in that time period. And I'm like, oh, and I was, like I said before, I'm like a big old Excitebike fan. I love Excitebike. I played a lot of Excitebike as a kid when I got it used on NES and made my own tracks and was pretty good at the flow of what that game was about. So when Kevin was just losing his marbles about Excite Truck, I'm like, and getting into Wii collecting, I've also been getting more into Wii collecting because it is fun and it is still relatively cheap, at least as compared to most other retro platforms.
You can go to the store and get a haul of Wii games as opposed to just okay, I'm going to buy this one game and half regret it when I get home. Did I really need to spend $70 on that? Ugh.
I spent $10 on Excite Truck, and a complete copy of Excite Truck. And I'm so glad I did because now after Kevin talked about it the way he did, I'm like, oh shit, I do need to get it. My Wii U's all the way hooked up. So I've got that in there. I'm playing through the Wii mode on the Wii U. And it also kind of pisses me off that I did transfer all my stuff because I feel like, and people have said this, Wii games look just a little bit softer on the Wii U.
Yeah,
it just
I agree.
Bothers me just a little bit. And then,
it even doesn't fill the full screen. I don't know if you notice, at least on my TV, there's a little bit of black border around the full screen. And I'm like, I don't feel like it did that on the Wii.
Yeah. And I can handle that. And maybe it did. And we just had those sort of TVs in the day. I'm not exactly positive. It still looks fine. It's still obviously very playable that way. But good Lord, I also really enjoy Excite Truck. I think it's a lot of fun. And it's so unique. You did a good job explaining it last time, Kevin, where it's at its core, sure, you're racing against whatever. Sometimes it's 6 other trucks or whatever, a lot of times in these kind of outdoorsy racing environments, certainly not race tracks, but open pathways within forests or like through areas of China, and you're going past like part of the Great Wall, or you're doing these different things, or you're going in a river, and like when you go in the river, that like resets this turbo meter, which is a really big like mechanic that you're kind of feathering to not like
I love the
overdo
risk
it.
reward of that.
Yeah, which again, that's completely informed by Excite Bike. You can go nutso on your turbo and end up on the side of the track because you blew your bike out, sort of thing.
Yeah.
And or like hitting other racers is kind of a thing there too, and that's a major thing in Excite Truck, like where you're getting these star points that you're being graded on, along with an actual letter grade at the end of each course, and they're grading you on the way through of like how much sick air you're getting on your jumps and turbo jumps. I can't do the turbo. I can never like consistently do the turbo jump at the right time. Anyway, like I'm still learning that, but I think it's like a jump thing. Like you're literally moving the Wii mote, right? Like up in the air and holding the turbo button.
Jump is you have to actually you just have to press the turbo button like right at the right time. You don't have to do anything with the remote or like any motion control.
Okay, I kind of half forgot the tutorial by the time I was super into it, so I was trying.
I actually forgot about it one of the times when I was playing again. Went back to it and I was like, wait, how does that mechanic work again? But I think it's like right at like the crest of the ramp. If you hit it, it's actually gives you a pretty good leeway too. Because sometimes I'm like, really, they gave me that one, or sometimes I do it on accident when I'm just like hitting a bump or something. So,
but it's so fascinating that like you're controlling your direction by tilting the Wiimotes. You're holding it in the NES style with the D-pad and your left thumb and the buttons on your right, but like you're controlling that way. You're holding down 2 for your regular gas, but then your turbo is on one of the D-pad buttons, which is like super unique way to go about it, especially for like a launch title to be using such a unique way to control the game. But it totally works. Like sometimes you feel quasi out of control, but never in a way that you can't correct, and in a way that doesn't feel good or fun. And it's just fun to like crash into other shit. Like I've not played any of the Burnout games, but I have a feeling the vibes are similar with some of this stuff. As far as like, sick crash, and you get all these points or whatever, like that's happening. And like you had mentioned before too, Kevin, like you don't have to win the race. You get more bonus points if you win the race, but ultimately you just have to get over a certain, point threshold in general by your jumps and going through these rings that appear and collecting things, smashing other cars, all kinds of
drifting,
stuff. Drifting, yeah. Air, where it's just like, what a unique way of going about a point system and like interacting with what is technically a racing game. Like, and there's a lot of courses here. I still haven't unlocked a whole lot of stuff. I think I'm on like the 3rd circuit, just barely, I want to say.
And I think there's 5 if I'm not mistaken.
Oh, geez. Wow.
5,
there's
5
a lot
circuits
here
that have, I think, 5 tracks each. So
it's definitely at least that. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, let alone the secret pathways on the tracks, and that like skimming some of the reviews, they're talking about, it's a shallow experience or whatever. Like it's fine. It's like, it's meant to be like an arcadey type of title. This is what I live for with this sort of thing. I am the Cruising USA sicko type of guy anyway. Like this is right in my wheelhouse. I think it's great. I enjoy it a lot.
I'm so happy to hear that. Yeah, because I was like a little bit worried that like maybe this game, sometimes the game just catches you at the right time and the right mood and whatever. And I'm like, maybe I'm gushing about this game and it doesn't fully deserve the praise I'm giving it. But I still, I love the game a ton. And I have since moved on, if you're good to kind of talk a little more of the series, if you will.
Oh, absolutely.
I did pick up a copy of ExciteBots, Trick Racing is like the subtitle of the game. And I will say with both of the games, I think in Excite Truck and ExciteBots, I think you can do tricks like in both of them and do like 360s and flips and stuff like that. I don't really do any of that, which would probably make getting the stars and the rankings even easier.
Right.
I do some of them that are kind of auto triggered by like certain jumps or ramps or in ExciteBots. Like it's pretty much the same game, except they're throwing like some party mode or party game elements into the mix and like a little almost And not even almost, like definitely to a fault, to a slight degree. It doesn't ruin the experience by any means, but it does, like what they add doesn't add anything new that makes it particularly fun. It would be great if I was like playing in a room with like all three of us were playing and we were laughing and having a great time, but it's also a game where there's like enough nuance and like enough complexity where like, it's not like Mario Strikers on the GameCube where you can just hand someone a controller, A passes, B shoots, let's go. It is kind of intuitive, but this game is like throwing all sorts of weird, like almost like comedy into the mix. Like you'll hit like, instead of hitting like the little, you'll hit the same things that you will hit in Excite Truck where you like hit the little question mark thing or whatever. And it triggers like a new ramp to form in front of you or a big dip in, a valley all of a sudden. It has some of that in this game too, but sometimes you'll just like, you have this arm on the top of your truck or on the top of your bot that like, you're like shaped like an animal or whatever, or some kind of creature. And then this arm will like, all of a sudden you'll like hit this question mark and then you'll have like a pie being held above your truck and it's like, hey, and then like a clown will just like appear in midair and you have to like press the A button at the right time to throw the pie and hit the clown in the face.
I forgot about this.
Or you'll pick up like a tambourine and the tambourine, when you trigger it, will just go like tat, 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 tat. And then you have to press 2 more times like tat, tat, and in the right time. And if you do it right, you get a speed boost. Or you'll hit like a question mark and you'll get a dart. And then there'll be like a big bullseye board. And if you time it right and launch the dart and hit it right. So that's how you're getting the stars in this game, on top of, drifting and smashing into cars. But I do feel like they stripped away like a little bit of the just like immediacy of Excite Truck, and like by adding in, or they'll just, a bunch of bowling pins will spawn in front of you and you get a star for every pin you knock down. It's cool and it's fun, and in a party mode it'd be a blast because like you can spawn the pins, but then if other racers are in front of you, they can hit them. I don't know if they get points for them or not because they're just computer players,
right?
But like if it was all of us and you're stealing my pins that I just triggered, like that could be awesome. So it is pretty fun there, but it's like it's a little gimmicky, I guess. Is like they went a little too far into like the gimmick and comedy side of things. Like I said, it doesn't ruin the experience.
I remember like spinning on some like balance bar like way too many times in a row or something. That's when I was like, I think maybe I'm going to sell this game. And that was like
gets a little frustrating. Yeah, I think I mentioned that briefly. I don't think it was on the episode proper, but just talking to you guys about it on Save It for the Cast or something, or just talking about it. But like, there's these red bars that, with that arm that sticks out the top of your car. It'll be like a designated point in the track that just basically, like, essentially, like, think of like a Mario Kart track where there's like a big cannon that blasts you up to the next part of the track, and then you're kind of out of control. You basically get to this, everybody gets to this point, you can't go around it or anything, there's no different route, you have to go this way, and then you have to like take the Wii remote and literally like kind of spin it almost in like a rowing motion or something. I don't know how exactly describe it, but you're like doing these circles in the air.
Yep.
And you're kind of, you have to get into a rhythm with it. You have to kind of start slow and build up momentum and go faster. And it does actually, like, the more I did it, it does start to feel good. And there are other, like, the yellow ones don't necessarily make you do it 10 times around. You just have to like wait for the right time and trigger it at the, just flick your wrist and trigger it at the right time to launch off of it. And it's actually kind of cool because if you trigger it too early or too late, you'll like spin out of control and your car will look like it's kind of like blown up and like smoking. But if you like rotate the Wii remote and you're able to land like on your, on all fours, you it's like, hey, nice save, and you get a little speed boost, but otherwise it counts as like a wipeout or a crash. And in this game, instead of mashing the button, you just got to shake the Wii remote real fast to get back in action. But it's really fun. I'm actually, I made it through 4 of the 5 circuits. I just unlocked the 5th one right before we sat down to record here.
Nice.
And it's definitely getting a little bit trickier to get that, to hit that threshold to unlock the next stage or whatever. But yeah, it's still a really fun game. Excite Truck is definitely the better of the two. But ExciteBots is definitely still fun. I'm glad I have it in my collection. And I like the settings are like a little more colorful, a little more vibrant, a little more like tropical in that game. It's got a cool cool flavor. And again, it's got some great branching paths. Like you clearly can see, okay, I can go this way, but I can go left and cut through the trees over here. Or I can go on this ramp off to the right over here. But yeah, there's even this other mode where like, again, you're like playing like a, so your car or vehicle looks like some kind of animal. And then you'll hit this wrench sometimes. That's one of the power ups. And then your vehicle will all of a sudden be like get up on its hind legs and start like running.
Oh,
and then the way you run, you have to like literally tilt the Wii remote back and forth to like take steps. But like you're also steering with motion controls. So you're doing this and you're just like all over the place. Like it just gets a little hectic. And then when you're in that mode, you'll launch into the air and then you can like go super high, like sky high. And then like almost like you're in a wingsuit and like dive down and there'll be these butterflies to collect. Like it's just like it's like there's almost too much going on, but it is fun. But I am glad I played Excite Truck first and had like foundation. I do think if I just like went into this game from scratch, I'd be like, what the hell is happening?
And that's what I did back in the day.
Nuts.
Yeah, I picked up ExciteBots because I feel like it got a little bit better reviews and it's a little bit better looking of a game.
Yeah, it did get good reviews. Yeah, definitely. I remember that. Yeah.
Which now I'll pick it up. It'll probably be 10, 15, 20 bucks.
I picked it up. Yeah, it was $10. I think both of them were around the $10 price range for me each. And I very much enjoy both of them. And they're on the higher end of like the games that I will be most likely to pop into my, Wii or Wii U and play again. Because they're just a lot of fun. They're perfect for some pick up and play action.
That's awesome.
Yeah. Heck yeah, I'm glad you liked it as well. But but yeah, on to another game that I believe you are also liking. Why don't we just keep it over in your territory here, Randall?
Yeah, the only game cartridge that's been, I think, in my analog pocket for like a year at this point, which is the Castlevania double pack. So first, an update. I have saw credits on Aria of Sorrow. I've beat that game. Yeah,
nice.
God damn, that game was in my top 3. I was like right there. I had already uncovered everything I needed to. I already had like a 90% map, like found shit percentage, and I just had to like go through the boss door, and I just hadn't done that yet by the time we recorded our end of year episode. But yeah, I beat that game. That's a tremendous game, man. It's Aria of Sorrow, and then I like got on the plasma blast, which is like the lightning attack from the lightning doll kind of thing, and that was
it's the best one.
That's my shit. Oh, is it? Because I'm like, I tried a ton of them out. I tried not to consult the internet too much, and I tried all like you get so many weapons and options, and I tried them all out, including even the dumb gun or whatever. And,
I mean, it was my favorite. I don't know if it's the meta of it, but like as soon as I got that lightning doll, I was like, nope, this is the bullet soul forever.
It's the insect glaive of Aria of Sorrow.
It doesn't take that much MP. You can like fire that sucker off real quick. It does
covers a lot
good
of
damage. Yeah, it covers a lot of ground, does good damage to most enemies. I tried. I'm like, let's try other things. And besides maxing my luck out for stats, I just kind of stuck with that specific lightning thing for like the second half of the game, and that did well by me, I would say. Man, what a game. And I did mention this before, but I now own Symphony of the Night, and I'm just so like itching to play that once I have the capability to do so, now that I've completed Aria, because there's like a lot of DNA similarities, I think, between those games and the way they feel to me.
Definitely. And I have heard quite a few people, like obviously Symphony of the Night is like the one that kind of like lives on as like the pinnacle, or like the one that people reference all the time, I guess. But I have heard a lot of people on various websites, podcasts, or whatnot over the years, like put Aria of Sorrow right up there, neck and neck, if not them saying like, I actually like this game better,
I think that's totally fair. And I'm very curious now to play contemporarily, like this close together, to see if that holds true from my memories of playing the XBLA version of Symphony of the Night like over a decade ago. So yeah. But so also on the double pack, I thought, why take the cartridge out when it's already there? So I went right into Harmony of Dissonance, which is the other Castlevania that's on there. And wow, even though we talked about before we started the podcast, these games were released like a year apart, but they feel kind of like they were developed by different teams. Like I think Iga
they definitely were, actually. I just watched a video about like the Castlevania series, and I think all three of them were developed by different teams, all three of the GBA games.
Like Iga's involved
if I'm not
in them,
mistaken.
but like they feel so different.
Yeah.
Like massively so.
Yeah, I had
they even like look very different.
Yeah, like Circle of the Moon and Aria of Sorrow, and I had skipped Harmony of Dissonance, so like I played Harmony of Dissonance probably like on an emulator years later, and I remember just being like, this is so weird in comparison. Like the mechanics are odd, and like the menu systems are kind of difficult to navigate, and like I remember just like it never really sticking with me, despite it also being like a very similar like gameplay and all that. But yeah, like they are so distinct titles in a way that is kind of hard to enunciate.
No, it's totally fair. Like I feel like I don't know this for a fact, but I would not be surprised if a lot of the team that worked on Circle of the Moon was the team that then moved on to Aria of Sorrow. And Harmony is this like weird middle child thing where like it's got a lot of DNA of Super Castlevania 4 in it, and then like some like Symphony of the Night too, because it has the whip mechanic and it is kind of slower, just default movement like Super Castlevania 4. It's an odd duck, this Harmony of Dissonance.
And I would almost say it's the best looking of the GBA
it does look
games.
good.
At least, like the sprites are a little more detailed.
I like how Aria looks though, to be honest. Even though it's a little smaller.
That's no knock. That's no knock on any of the other ones.
I think that Harmony of Dissonance may look better like in stills. Like I think that the color palette like really lends itself to like having like a screenshot of it, but like I think that like it is one of the more jarring games to look at, just because of like I think there's like a really bright outline over is it Julian or Juiced? Who is it? What's the name of the Belmont that you have?
I don't remember, but I do remember that outline.
Juste. Yeah.
Okay.
Belmont.
Of course, always a Belmont. Well, not always a Belmont, but most of the time a Belmont. But I'm playing it like at first, like, ooh, like at first it kind of like slapped me across the face. Like, man, this feels different. And Kevin and I were even talking last time of like Super Castlevania 4 is not like our favorite Castlevania to play and feel like compared to other ones. It's just a little bit more trudgy, like it's a little in the mud comparatively.
It's a perfect way to put it.
Even though you got the whip thing and you can do this with the whip, and you know it moves back and forth, and you know you can shake it around in front of enemies for whatever that's worth. That ends up not being all that relevant most of the time, but it's kind of a cool thing to do.
Just like show off that you can look at how these pixels can move on the screen.
But no, and then I also needed to like remap some of the buttons. First, like you couldn't put the sub weapon. I've got extra buttons here, and yet I can't map the sub weapon, but like at least I could map the like forward and back dash to the shoulder buttons in the direction they needed to go. Like that helped my cause, and that was not the default the way that I would have expected either. And then now I've got like the slide, and you know, so between those things I'm moving faster than I was before. And that's fine. I'll already tell you right now, this game's not as good as Aria of Sorrow, but all the same, I'm enjoying it and playing through it because I'm just in that headspace and it's right there. And, you know, it's still in a vacuum is an enjoyable game. So, you know, I'm going to keep chugging away, keep chipping away at that sucker, see where I can get to.
Nice. That's saying something. I've both on ExciteBots and on moving on to the next Castlevania one. Like, I feel like a lot of times, at least for me, I don't want to speak for you, Randall, but like if I'm playing like one game and I'm like I said, one time DJ and I were like, oh, we're going to play through all the Mario games like in order, and we were going to play like one 2D Mario, one 3D Mario, and then move on to the next one, you know, chronologically. And then after we played Mario 64, like we played Mario 1, then Mario 64, and we were like, kind of it's when it's just kind of more of the same with the, you know, iteration or a little twist, you know, it's easy to be like, okay, played a little bit of that, I got my taste, and now I'm moving on to the next thing. So the fact that like we both put some significant time into the next game in that series, or the next one that we were going to play, says something, I feel.
No, I'm happy for that. I love it when that happens. I feel like it doesn't happen as much as it used to that way, actually.
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah. Give us more games. Give us iterations, even though this is like a weirdly not an iteration. Yeah, it's just its own thing.
Yeah.
We got iterations of these ideas on the DS, basically, especially with Aria, of course. But yeah, that's for another podcast.
I've been itching to dig into some of those DS ones, so let me know if you plan on doing that. So
Dominus Collection's a good way to do it.
Yeah. I need to get some of those before they become super rare and get out of control. But if we're good there, I think we can clear the path for John here to kind of close us out here for the evening.
Yeah, this is going to be a very spoiler-filled Metroid Prime 4 review, so if you want to avoid that, then you can end the episode here. So, if you've listened to this podcast over the years, then you've known that I will bring up Metroid Prime probably every fourth episode or so. And it has been an ongoing, recurring joke of how I would be suffering about how Metroid Prime 4 would be delayed over the years.
Does it exist?
Since like the inception of this podcast, it has been as like, oh yeah, and by the way, Metroid Prime 4 has also not come out this year. So I have been anticipating this game for at least 18 years, which is when Metroid Prime 3 Corruption came out. And I was hoping that one left not a bad taste in my mouth, but it was a little bit of a disappointment in terms of how much I loved the original two. And like Metroid Prime 3 started moving in a direction that I wasn't, entirely on board with, but it was still, a Metroid Prime game, and I love the series. And I was like, yeah, I'm really interested to see what another title in this series could be. And year after year, that kept being a pipe dream of, boy, I'd really like to see what they would do in one of my favorite series of all time.
Yeah, or even for that matter,
one of the most accoladed. Like, Metroid Prime on Metacritic is one of the fucking top rated games of all time. Like, this is not some little niche series either for them to leave dormant for this length of time.
And I was just going to say, it's like, it was to the point of like, I want to make sure this series isn't dead.
Yes.
Like that it's ever going to come back Star Fox style, Like, what the heck?
And then Remastered came out, and it was incredible. Like, not only like as a faithful recreation, but like having new control schemes and having updated graphics that just looked gorgeous and like
just a labor of love.
Yeah. I adore Metroid Prime Remastered, and that with that in my fresh in my mind, I picked up Metroid Prime 4 after avoiding, as much footage as I possibly could while still existing on the internet, and went in fresh.
Nice.
And I want to front load this with some of the positives that I have now after I have completed Metroid Prime 4 with a
nice,
a mission complete time, time played of 11 hours and 13 minutes, scans collected 83%, and items discovered 69%. Nice.
Do you feel like that adds up to the time you played? Because I do feel like with Metroid games, they always, at least in my experience, they tend to let's say you play for 20 minutes and then die and have to start from a save point. It tends to not count that 20 minutes and just go back to the time whatever you were at when you died, it like actually saves the time on the checkpoint as well, if that makes sense.
It might. And like that's actually a thing that I do want to give praise to this game, is that I think that the layout of the checkpoints and the save points is as good as it's ever been in the series. Like they don't do Metroid Dread introduced checkpoints like in like the Emmy sections and at bosses, so that you wouldn't have to backtrack. And like you can argue whether that's like, defeating the purpose of like the level design, but like also Dread was a more like kind of a brutally difficult game.
Brutal is correct.
So that was appreciated quality of life. But like this one is, if you die, you are reset to your like last save point. So it is in your best interest to save often, and they give you these save points at I think like the exact right place to do it. So I want to give them props where props are due. And like the Chrono Tower is like one of the opening areas of the game, and it is an aesthetic design that has never been present in the Metroid Prime series before. And I honestly think like it's one of the coolest things to see in it, because of how not like samey like this like the series has been up to this point, but like to see something so distinct of like its own unique thing, and like to have your scan visor and like scan things and just have everything come back as like unknown substance. I have no idea what this is, and like in fiction be like, this is wholly alien in a series about traveling through space, is like that really felt great. And I was like,
yeah, that's cool.
It primed me right off the beginning to be like, all right, you're doing some interesting things here that are like, this is a different game than like the other games in the series. And then also, I think the bosses are as good as they've ever been. Like Retro is really good at making bosses, and I think that's a strength of the Prime series overall, and I don't think that this game is any exception. I think there are a few bosses that I didn't like, and I can get into that later. But after that, I think the positives are going to be very few and far between for the rest of this game. Unfortunately, I came away from this game extremely disappointed, and like most of my time playing this game was more out of obligation and thinking is like, this is a game in like a series that I adore. I need to see this through, and less of, boy, I'm excited to play this new game that I've been waiting for years and years.
What a bummer.
Which is a big bummer. Like,
do you think there's any element of that, like the wait? Because sometimes, not to keep interrupting you here, but like sometimes like you go into like a movie and I'm like, hey, everyone telling me this movie is so awesome, I can't wait to see it. And then I go see it and I'm like, it was okay. Like, do you think there's any element of like waiting for it for so long and it being one of your favorites that like there's no it was ever going to live up,
No.
I don't know.
I really think that this game, like this development for this game has been a nightmare. This was originally developed by another developer. I think it may have been Bandai Namco at one point.
Like Team Ninja or something.
It was Team Ninja did Other M.
They did Other M.
Which is
Bandai
another
Namco
game which will pop up in my review of Metroid 4 repeatedly. But like, yeah, Bandai Namco, I think, like started development, and then like at one point, like they either had to drop or like they were going to abandon it entirely, and then Retro came in at the like 11th hour, and like the game was so far along in development and needed to come out that they kind of just had to finish it at some point. And so like I know that there have already been interviews about, how they've had to like make some like concessions on terms of like design. At one point, this was like designed to be an open world game, which I don't really know why that would be. Or like,
when I think of Metroid, I think open world.
It's a thing that like is a literal genre defining series of like the Metroidvania, and like there's a I think that one of the thing that makes me most critical about the game, like having played it in linear time and the other games that I've played, is that I played through all of the Halo campaigns like last year.
Yeah.
And this is a worse Halo campaign.
Oof.
Like it like is in a series that like came out parallel to the Halo series and like had its own identity that was like not like Halo at all. Like the opening sequence of Metroid Prime 4 is the exact same opening sequence of Halo 3, where it is like Samus as the like super soldier coming into like the war zone where all the other like NPCs are talking in hushed tones. They're like, that's Samus Aran. And like everyone is like in awe of you being there. And then disaster strikes and like they're dying by the dozens around you as you are like the one super powered soldier who are like mowing down space pirates. And like it felt so surreal to play something that felt like at the time, I was like, okay, well, this is just like the opening section. They're trying to build this is the setting of this story. They're resetting it. But like, that is how the entire game is now. It is.
That's so tonally odd. Like Metroid's about isolation, right? Like, what are we doing here? Like,
well, this is the thing. Is like this is what they did in Other M. Where it was a similar thing of you're coming into this area where there's a bunch of Galactic Federation troopers. And like they also did this in Metroid Prime 3 Corruption. So like it's not completely out of left field for this series, but it is absolutely a move that is in my least favorite titles of the series, like far and away my least favorite titles. And like the director of the Prime series has gone on to like say in also the Federation Force spin-off title. And he's like been on record as saying how he thinks like the most interesting part of Metroid is the Galactic Federation. And I'm like, this is so like not what I care about this series at all. And so like right off the bat, like that's the tone they're setting. And online people have complained a lot about the NPCs of this game and the way that they've incorporated them into core mechanics of the game. There's the like Marvel Cinematic Universe like quippy sidekick character who is the one that is telling you every 5 minutes where you are going next in the game. There is no time for you to explore because any time that you are just on your way to the next destination, he is popping up and you cannot disable this. You cannot get rid of this. And you are forced to hear him tell you exactly where you're supposed to go. And like, it's infuriating to like have like the exploration aspect of Metroid just removed entirely. Brutal. And like it's so frustrating to have a game that I come to for that immersion, for that exploration, for trying to poke around and find my way through. And the first area beyond that like opening section of like cinematic cutscenes, it's a straight line and there are no other options. It turned Metroid into a corridor shooter and every single room doesn't have anything other than here's a wave of enemies that are coming at you, or here is the door that you need to first do a little psychic puzzle in order to unlock. And like there are secrets, quote unquote, like every other Metroid game where it's like, oh, you have to do this little like platforming section in order to get a missile upgrade. But like they aren't like, I don't know, every single room just becomes a like a little puzzle to solve, and then you move on to the next one, and you never come back to that room. Like Retro's also really good at designing set pieces. So like each of the rooms are really immaculately designed, and like you'll go into them and there'll be a little vignette that plays where the environment changes for the first time, or like some like stuff that they've done in previous Metroid Prime series games, but like you never come back to them and you never explore them and you never spend any time there because you just move on to the next thing. And like that just kills what I love about this series.
Yeah, that's just not thematically in line. And I'm sure like when you're trying to get those one-off secret, missile upgrades, is the NPC guy just chirping at you if you take
Not
too
really.
long? Okay, good.
Like the nice thing is it's a one and done thing where like
good.
but like there's just no guesswork involved. Like you're just you always know where you're going and you always know what you're doing. And like there's also I feel like people have really other people shared like the sentiment where they don't like the fact that this game seems very handholdy and like guides you to exactly where you need to go, and they've taken that out as a like there are no middle ground opinions on the internet. So it's either like, oh, this is fine, or this is the worst thing that has ever happened.
Naturally.
And I honestly think that the characterizations of like all of the NPCs are fine. Like Other M, I think had not great writing, and I did not enjoy having to interact with those NPCs. But like anytime that there would be a scene with like them, like I think voice acting has improved like remarkably over the years, and I think that the writing is serviceable. That like every time I'd meet a new NPC, I'm like, yeah, this guy's fine. Yeah, this person's cool. Or like there was a gunner or like a private, and she's a like complete fangirl of Samus, and I was like, that's kind of endearing. Like it's like everybody knows who Samus is, obviously.
Which that'd be realistic in that circumstance, sure. After all of Samus's adventures and successes,
right. But like the other thing that I think is my biggest complaint with the game overall is that they have removed all platforming from the game, because these NPCs are almost always introduced in escort missions. So you have to be fighting alongside these NPCs. You have to be watching their health too. So like if they die, like that, like complicates the mission. So like they need to be at full health and they need to be following you and at certain times to like unlock a door. So in order for them to be able to follow you, everything needs to be a flat path or a ramp, because they can't jump. So there's no platforming in this game.
Man.
And again, what are you doing? Like, what do you think Metroid is?
Yeah,
like,
and that's like a pioneer of that in a first-person perspective.
Exactly.
Really.
The initial game, like the very first one, is just a giant vertical shaft. Like, to completely get rid of that so that you can have a, like, NPC talk at you for, like, extended sequences is, like, I don't understand what you want this game series to be. Unlike, because it's not what I want it to be, like, at all. Like, which, I need to, like, interject, because the actual gameplay, the physical, like, aiming, like, with a twin stick controls feels like incredible.
The feel, yeah.
Like, it's good. Like, they did a really good, like, this game has so many moments of it where I'm like, this is really good. Like, when I'm doing the boss battles, because that's just Samus in one room against, like, a well choreographed, like, moment. But, like,
set piece or whatever,
it's just wild to me that, like, I don't, like, the priorities of what I don't know, the future of this series is going to be is just, I don't think what I want this game series to be anymore. And I don't know if I'm going to get another game that in this series that I like at this point, which is a really big bummer. Like, Ugh. But good God, I've got so many more notes. There's so much more about this game that like the overall aesthetics of the logbook or the menu system. It's the same thing. I don't know. Did I talk about, or was I so angry at Doom Eternal that I never even brought it up on this podcast?
I don't remember.
I don't think you
off the top of my
did.
head.
Yeah, Doom Eternal, it looked so much, they took away all of the character of like Doom 2016 to like what I call like Blizzardify it. And like all the menus have like no like hard edges. They're really slick and like monochrome, but also brightly colored. And like that's exactly what they did here. Like the logbook is just a like list. Like there's no character to it. There's significantly less of it in like the scan visor, like compared to previous Metroid Prime games. Like they still have, specific entries. Like the ice belt is a universally like beloved or like noted as a high point in Metroid Prime 4 because it's the spooky area that like the linear design is you're going down in a like coil deeper into the thing and then you go in reverse back up after you've turned the power back on and everything unfreezes and all the enemies are now hunting you down in what used to be the spooky scary area. And like it's, I don't know, like they have the immersive storytelling through logbook entries there, but like that's it. They're not anywhere else. Like they've like, that was such a strong point of also like the previous Prime series where like you would like not only get the like space pirate logs, you would get the Chozo lore. So you would get multiple perspectives of like different points in history of it. And like, that's just absent from this. You kind of get this like one perspective at one point and like, good God, I've got so many more notes. I'm not even like, we're barely scratching the surface of like all of my problems with this. Like, it feels like it's a game that was cobbled together of a lot of disparate parts and had not a lot of those parts like integrated into each other. Like,
right.
I've seen a lot of like the things that I've said, like I've seen a ton of like critiques about that online from other people, but I've not seen anyone have like a critique about like certain things. Like I think the rumble is constantly present in a way that is like actively like exhausting to play.
Oh.
Like I ended up turning the difficulty down, not because of like any like difficulty with the like actual gameplay, but because the bosses had so much health and were a like bullet sponge and the rumble was just engaged the entire time. That like after I was playing like a boss battle for 5 minutes, I'm like, my hands hurt. I can't play this game anymore. Like, yeah, like I had to take a break in the middle of the boss battle just because my hands hurt.
Jeez.
And I'm like, like, it doesn't seem like that was a, like, that can't be like a conscious decision. Like,
right.
Like, it just seems like an oversight or like, I don't know. And then the sound design, the mix of this game is abysmal. I had to have the music at like level 100, the voices at 50, and the sound effects at 70, and it was still too muddled to like separate anything in my head in a way that I'm like, I don't understand what is wrong here. In that, like, I can't differentiate any of the sounds that are happening. And like, I went back and played Metroid Prime Remastered, and I went back and played like Metroid Prime 2.
Part of
and I'm like,
games.
I don't get what you're doing differently here that like is causing like me to have like, I don't know, misophonia or like auditory processing like disorder. Like something is like fundamentally wrong with the implementation of the sound design here that like I can't put a finger on. And like,
what a mess.
I don't know. Like the also like the individual tracks, like you are moving from area, like nothing sticks. Like you move from one area to the next, and the audio tracks are like present for 2 rooms, and then they're gone. Like it
feels like incomplete.
It's not incomplete. It's just like, okay, well, we're in a new section, so now there's a new song. So let's cut out the, like, this happens in Fury Green, which is every single time. Fury Green, which is the best song in the soundtrack, and I just have my own little nitpicks of like how the synths like seem like they're not accurately synced, and I'm like, that can't be true. Like there's no way that like you are like these have to be like played, or like they have to be programmed. There's no way that like Kenji Yamamoto and Minako Hamano are like playing these tracks live and like duffing the offbeats of like every one of these tracks. So like that can't be true.
So it doesn't sound purposely dissonant. It just sounds
like there's a like
lazy.
The envelope on like 2 of the synths in like that track. I'm like, they're hitting on like they're like the attack on these have to be not like synced up to each other, because it kind of like creates a Doppler effect, but not in any way that seems purposeful. And like I feel like I'm losing my mind when I'm playing this game. I was like, they're like, I'm either like zeroing in on every single flaw, like hyper aware of it, or I'm insane. Like, I don't think like...
Well, to be sad, probably anything that's like, if it is something that's off, they're just like, we'll just patch it after it's out, you know? Who cares if it's not perfect, you know?
Yeah.
It seems...
Because I have played games where like audio tracks are out of sync like that before.
But it's like
the first time.
In the actual song itself, where like I'm listening to like the like I've also been listening to this soundtrack like a lot. Like since the game came out, I've been listening to the soundtrack, and I'm just like, I like the LFO that you have on this synth isn't synced to this, like the BPM of this track, which you don't have to do. And like, that is not like, that can absolutely be an aesthetic choice, but it is jarring to listen to in a way that I'm like that. But again, I've heard nobody else complain about this. So like, this is just a me thing. Like, I know that this is just me having a like very specific like aesthetic preference that is different from the composers, but at the same time, I'm like, I can't believe no one else is bothered by this. Yeah, like it's I don't know, like so much more. There's so much more. I haven't even gotten to the second page of notes that I have on this game, but like, I don't know. Should I even keep going on? Like,
I'll hear it. Whatever you want to throw out there. It's a mess.
Well, I wouldn't mind tabling it for another time, just because I don't want to go too long here.
I just don't want to talk about this game anymore. Like on a second episode. Like
brutal.
I really don't. Like
brutal.
I've already shelved this game and like put it away, being like, this is I'm done. Like it's really been always unpleasant to play.
It just sounds like the cynical like movie sequel to a movie that you liked, and then they shat another one out for the money or whatever, and it has none of the soul.
But like,
it's just like,
but it's there and people like it, you know, and like, I don't think they're wrong necessarily. Like, I don't think that they're fundamentally like misunderstanding what this game is. But like, I think that there has been a shift between like what this game series is and what I want from it. And I just think that it's moved on from me in a way.
Well, that might even boil down to just Nintendo in general, to be honest. Like, I don't want to like blanket it, but I mean, for me, Donkey Kong Bonanza, Mario Odyssey, like pretty much any mainstream, even Tears of the Kingdom for me, you know, I've not had a mainstream big time AAA Nintendo game hit for me in a long time.
Yeah.
In the way that I want.
And like, that's
and
totally
part of it might
fair.
be those expectations, and
But like,
on my end too.
Like how Tears of the Kingdom didn't hit for you, but did for me. Like, I understand that like game series change, like things like overall, like people want to do like evolve games and do different things with them. And like, it's not always going to hit, but like, it was just a real bummer to
massive
like
bummer.
have
because
like
Metroid Prime is such like a tone and moody and like it's just such a, it feels weird to not have it be the same way, and in some degree that it has been,
and just like some bizarre like choices. Like I can forgive a lot of stuff, but like really turning the game like into a linear progression, like, and remove any exploration from it other than like the third act of the game involved me just driving around the desert, like running over green energy crystals, which are just called green energy. Like, like there's all the level. It's like there's no thought put into like the naming conventions of anything in this game, and it's like it was kind of a miserable thing where like I had been doing like all of these like cinematic sequences where, oh, here's the like NPC that I'm walking through this area, and like Lauren was sitting next to me, and then like I spent an entire day just driving around on a motorcycle in the desert getting crystals, and like Lauren was asking, he's like, what are you doing? I was like, oh, I need to collect these crystals in order to advance in the game. And she's like, what are you talking about? And I was like, oh, I need to collect an arbitrary amount of green energy before the game allows me to advance to the next thing. And like, let me I will touch on the motorcycle, because in order to get the motorcycle, you have to get a license by doing 3 F-Zero-esque stages, which are incredible.
Okay.
Like they're not great. They're not great.
What I was expecting.
But it is a swing, and I respect like them like doing that, and then they never do it again. And I was like, why not just, instead of having a giant open like desert that has nothing in it, why not make a highway like this stage that you've already done, like an F-Zero stage that is just, instead of a lap, like a straight line that goes from one area to the next.
Yeah, you keep things nice and linear. Yeah.
Right. If you're doing this already, like, why not keep doing it? And like, put all the green energy crystals on the road, or like have the roads be dilapidated. Like,
yeah, that's what I was thinking. Yeah,
right.
That would fit thematically.
Right. It just
disparate parts, like you said. It's brutal. Like that's
Silex.
Yeah, it's a hodgepodge.
Silex from Metroid Prime Hunters is the primary antagonist. You see him exactly 3 times, and he never like. There's no reason for when he shows up or why. And there are no Metroids in this game.
Whoa!
Which is also insane. Like the Metroids are like shoehorned in the like, it's like, oh, apparently every single boss is infected by a Metroid. You can't see them, but trust us that they're there.
I was just gonna make the joke of like, oh yeah, Samus has some of the Metroid DNA or blood or whatever in her, but
I would kind of rather them not be there at all than kind of shoehorn them in, like try to be like, hey, this is a kind of story separate from that.
Yep.
Just involving Samus as opposed to shoehorning it.
Oh my god.
Like, yeah. Samus doesn't speak, so it feels really weird when all of these like, which I get why after Other M they might be shy about having Samus speak because of how insane people went over that by giving Samus any characterization at all, and people lost their goddamn minds about that. So instead, like, people just like gush and talk to her effusively, and Samus stands there silently at them. And it's like, again, what are you doing here? What is like? I don't know.
But that's typical video game, though. That's Link in every game. That's
But at least in Zelda, like, they will give you an audio prompt of like what Link says. Like Link doesn't talk, but like he will like the like options for things.
No,
will
not
be
typically.
Yeah, there's a lot of that.
I mean,
in
maybe
Skyward
in
Sword.
every Zelda game.
Maybe in the
basically
newer games, but in the old games, you don't typically get to like pick a dialogue. Or
They did a lot of that in Skyward Sword. He didn't pick a dialogue, but he was definitely.
Yeah, it was like a
Really?
yes or a no
I don't
thing.
remember that.
Yeah, it was.
I don't remember
It was
that
in a
at all.
lot of them, but yeah, I don't know. It's. I don't know, man. What a bummer.
Can we hold out hope that they'll make a sequel to Metroid Dread, or just another, side scrolly that they have another one of those in them and not any more
I bet
primes?
they do, but I don't know. I wanted to look forward to one of my favorite game series, and not necessarily just the 2D ones, which are also great.
Totally.
But whatever.
No, it's totally fair.
Also, the 3D third-person controls are garbage in this. So I was like, how do you mess up the grapple beam after you've done this already? Like in 2 other games, come on, like
Yeah.
I honestly, to be fair, I've never thought the grapple beam felt good in 2D or in 3D.
It was at least a consistent momentum and didn't shift in mid jump. Like it was.
No.
Yeah. Again, but I'm not seeing this anywhere else in a way that I'm like, am I wrong?
Well, you're not wrong if that's the way you feel.
I don't know that they're soaked in the Metroid Prime as much as you are. You know, especially the first 2 games, like the back of your hand. That informs a lot of this.
Let me tell you, I want to play Other M again, and that is the most insane.
I've been itching. I've been itching to play that game. I've been having a weird itch to play that game, talking about Wii games and everything. Yeah.
Right. That's why, because of the really crazy control scheme stuff you do in that game. Yes,
I definitely want to. This has made me want to play 3 more than because I don't think I've played 3 twice. I think like it was at the time my least favorite of the Prime series, in a way where I was like, well, I'll just play 1 and 2 again. And this is the first time in 18 years where I was like, I should really give 3 another shot.
It's all about perspective. It can always be worse.
Yeah. Heck yeah. Heck yeah. Anything else you got on that page of notes, John? Keep going, because
I've got so many more, but I don't need to talk about how the Griever track is asynchronous to the other ones and it just doesn't fit in the mix, or oh yeah, instead of you used to just scan objects to move forward, now you have to scan them and then you have to touch them, and like
what?
Yeah, like
the scan is not the action alone. We had to do Nintendo.
It wasn't tedious enough to scan everything.
Exactly.
Nintendo.
yeah. It's
brother.
Oh yeah, I'm the only other thing where I was like, apparently I had a fundamental misunderstanding of what other people think Metroid Prime is. Kenji Yamamoto and Minako Hamano really love a vocal synth, and they need to have that in every single track. And I'm like, that is not also what I came here for this soundtrack.
Back to the Halo comparisons. Yeah.
Yes,
I was just saying, that's exactly what I was thinking. Yeah,
dude, this seems so much like a Halo game, and now that I've played Halo, I'm like, this is a bad Halo game.
Like, I was gonna say, because being like a Halo game is not necessarily a bad thing.
No, right, but I've played good ones.
There's a few of those out there already.
Yeah. I can play them anytime, and I guess I can play Metroid Prime 1 and 2 at any time too, so it's fine.
Yeah.
All right, man. God, that was so long. I'm so sorry how long that was. Jeez.
No worries.
You needed to exercise that.
I really did.
Very important.
Yeah. I may even end up trimming some of it into like some save it for the cast material, depending on how my body's feeling on the editing and for length and stuff. But yeah, we'll see. But I don't know, anything more before you finish saying your piece here, John?
We're done.
Oh man,
the wait is over.
The weight is lifted.
Yeah, there you go. Perfect. Perfect.
Oh, brother.
Time to play games I
brother.
like.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. I feel like, after that much time, it's hard for anything to live up. But, but yeah, a little bit of a bummer. Definitely never feels good when you're like, like I had the same feeling with Mario Odyssey. Any game where you're like, oh man, I'm so hyped for like the next game in this series. And like, just didn't quite hit what I wanted it to be.
Right.
Even if it's good. Obviously, Mario Odyssey is a good game. It's just like, I even like it. It's just not what I wanted.
I agree.
Right. Like this is a perfectly fine game, but it does nothing that I want.
Yeah.
Like
this is
Metroid Prime.
It's just hard to swallow. Yeah.
This is by no means a bad game, but it is not for me.
Yeah. That's been the Nintendo MO these days, man.
Yep.
Yeah.
But, oh man, I don't know. Anything else before we wrap things up here tonight, guys?
No, sir.
Mm-mm.
Good deal. Well, as always, you can find us on the internet at pursuingpixels.com or pretty much anywhere else. Just look up Pursuing Pixels. And otherwise, until next week, we will catch you then, and take care.
Bye.
Bye-bye. What video game are you going to play next, John? Do you like video games anymore?
I do like video games.
Oh, good.
The immediate palate cleanser I went with was Kentucky Route Zero. Because I never beat that. And I had it on Switch, and I was like, all right, let's just do this. And then immediately after playing that, I was like, holy fuck, I adore this game. Like,
nice.
Instantaneously was like, God damn, games are good. No.
Yeah.
Well, that's good.